Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana. This is Dana My Reads. I don't know if I'm going to keep using that as an intro. I feel like I should introduce myself every time, just in case this is someone's first time watching one of my videos, but at the same time, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I keep doing that? Just a random thought as I was saying that. So, anyway, today I am doing the end of year book tag, which most people do late October, early November, but I had lots of stuff going on at the time. So this is my super late to the game end of year book tag. Still technically before the end of the year. So, you know, there are 6 questions. Question number 1 is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? So I'm going to sort of change the question a little bit, and instead of books, say series, because I haven't really read a lot of standalones this year. I've started To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, so I still need to finish that. But in general, I don't really think there's a lot of other standalones. So I'm going to say series. I started Wheel of Time this year. I am not going to finish Wheel of Time this year, obviously. But I did start Stormlight Archive. I keep looking over here. Camera's right there. Stop it. So, I started Stormlight Archive. I am currently on book 2, Words of Radiance, which I had paused to read Fires of Vengeance, so I need to finish that, which I'm currently reading, and then I need to read Oathbringer. I have no plans of starting Rhythm of War. I will see how I feel after I finish Oathbringer, if I really need to read Rhythm of War right away or not, because I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel like when I purchase books that are part of a series, I want them to be all the same format. Like, I want, I'm not a big hardcover fan, but I did start The Rage of Dragons. The series is called The Burning, as a hardcover, and so I want all of the rest of the books to be hardcover. And Stormlight, I have all of the large paperbacks. I want them to all be large paperbacks so they look aesthetically pleasing on the shelf, but that opinion might change once I finish Oathbringer. Okay, so question number 2 does not really apply given how late I am doing this book tag. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I am too late for that, obviously. I don't feel like it would have applied anyway. I have my standard TBR. I don't really have a transition. I do have my Cozy Mysteries, which are sort of my palette cleanser for after finishing a really epic book. Like the Fires of Vengeance, I switched to a cozy that helps me kind of calm down. And also when I had my really bad allergic reaction, I had a hard time focusing, so I switched over to more of my cozies, which helped me kind of relax. And they're just, nice relaxing reads for me. So it's not really an autumnal or seasonal switch transition for me, but they are my transitions after reading big epic fantasies. Question number 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? If I had done this book tag when it was supposed to be done, it would have been Fires of Vengeance, Ready Player 2, things like Rhythm of War. I'm excited about, but of course, like I said, I'm not purchasing it right away. Of course, we'll see how I feel after Oathbringer. There's a cozy that came out in November by Ellie Alexander called Without a Brew. She has another one in her Bake Shop Mystery Series, which is this stack right here. Oop. Except the two on the top, but it's still by the same author. Just a different series. She has, is it number 12? I think it's book number 12 coming out in December. I don't know the exact date. I'll link it. But it's called Chilled to the Cone. It's one of my favorite book series. It's what got me into cozy mysteries. I love the punny titles. Super great. Anyway, so that's coming out. So yeah, I guess that's probably the only thing I'm looking forward to. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Okay, so the 3 books I want to finish before the end of the year. Obviously, I'm reading Words of Radiance right now, so I need to finish that. But then I want to read Oathbringer, This Thick Boy, and then I reread Shatter Time Shards, which is a sci-fi book. It's super, super cool. My boyfriend is going to reread it soon as well, and so I'm trying to convince him to do a review with me. So there's that. But he wants to reread it, and I reread it so we could read book number 2 in the series called Shatter War. And then book number 3 comes out in January. David Fitzgerald is a friend. He is awesome. I adore him. And then this one, I have mixed feelings on whether I should postpone reading it or not. It was in my fall TBR. I won't get to it before fall ends. Ready Player 2, which I watched Daniel Green's review, and I trust his opinion. It was a spoiler-free review, which is rare with Daniel Green. Sometimes he accidentally slips up. But there was it wasn't great, which makes me kind of nervous to read it, but I kind of feel a responsibility to my viewers to read it, because if I wasn't a booktuber and I watched Daniel Green's review, I probably wouldn't be picking this up. But maybe someone watches my channel that doesn't watch his channel, which you should. I mean, he has tons and tons of subscribers. I'm sure if you watch mine, you probably watch his. Anyway, I want to read this, but I don't want to read this. But fun fact about this book that I kind of want to share, I have a signed edition, but something funny. I was flipping through this book because I was like, should I read this right away or should I postpone it? But I feel like it's something people will want to read, and I feel like I should have a review for it. So this is the end of the book on page 366. Okay, I keep looking over there and the camera's right there. Gosh. Page ends on 366, and then it goes into the acknowledgments, which I always read. I read them for all the books. I love getting some of that information from the author, little tidbits here and there. There's some really cool things in the acknowledgments, so you should read those. Anyway, so there's that. Then there's the about the author, and then there's a blank page. And then it starts at the end of the book again. It starts on page 345 and like goes through the end of the book again. Like, isn't that crazy? And then it has the acknowledgments and about the author and stuff again. So that's kind of a fun fact about this book. Might make it worth something someday, especially since it's signed. So if you have Ready Player 2, is your copy like mine? Do you have a misprint? Or not even Ready Player 2, do you have any misprints of books? I just think they're really interesting and kind of, I don't know, it's kind of funny. So those are 3 books that I plan on reading before the end of the year. I am going to be reading some cozies in between there. Cozies, I'm always reading cozies. I read cozies at bedtime. They help me relax. And I typically read them on my Kindle, which I prefer reading my Kindle in bed. Anyway, moving on. Question number 5. Is there a book that could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I really don't think so. I only got back, well, I've been reading a lot of cozies. That how I got into booktube is one of my friends from middle school, high school, got into booktube, and she does mostly cozies. And then I found that there's this whole booktube there, right? And discovered all these different booktubers. And then I feel like it's only been a year or so, it feels a lot longer, that I found Murphy Napier, Daniel Green, those big booktubers. And they got me back into fantasy. And I started with The Name of the Wind. And then my boyfriend started on Wheel of Time. And then I read the Mistborn trilogy. And we've sort of been going from there. And so this year I started the Wheel of Time series. I started Stormlight Archive. I've read Warbreaker. I've read The Raging Dragons, The Fires of Vengeance, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. What else? So I've had a lot of great books this year. And I don't know if there is one that could still shock me and become a favorite. Maybe Oathbringer. But I'm pretty sure my favorite would be The Raging Dragons. Yeah, that's all I've got. Last and final question, because this video is way longer than it needs to be for just 6 simple questions, is have you already started making plans for 2021? Of course I have. My TBR never ever ends. And given that I've only gotten back into fantasy within the last year, there are so many good fantasies out there. Of course, once I sort of catch up on little odds and ends, I want to blaze through the Wheel of Time. I want to read Mistborn Era 2. I want to read the Gentleman Bastard series, the Poppy War series, Dresden Files. I want to get into that. I want to read some Asimov. I want to read Outlander. We watched the show and I loved it. Yeah, so I have so many things I want to read. I just am not a fast reader and can't get through things fast enough. People think I read fast, but I don't. I just always have a book with me and read whenever I get a chance to. And I always have multiple books going at a time. I always have an audiobook going, a physical book, and a book on my Kindle, typically a cozy. But yeah, I have so many plans for 2021. I hope to really sort of blaze through more books a little bit quicker, and try to consistently post at least once a week. I'm on vacation right now, but after I go back to work, I have a schedule change, and I am hoping that schedule change helps me manage my time better. because I've been working a lot of mid shifts and it's like too early in the morning for me to work on stuff. And then by the time I get home, it's later in the evening and I only have an hour or two to spend with my boyfriend before he goes to bed because he's an early riser. So I'm hoping this switch and shift, this shift change will, and then having 2 set days off during the week helps with that, and makes it to where I can spend more time editing and working on stuff. I have an audiobook I've been working on, but it's been postponed just mainly due to those issues. Initially I was having computer issues, but we've got that fixed, and now it's just sort of a time management thing. Working in mid-shift, it's hard to narrate and talk after you've been talking all day. Your voice is tired, and then my boyfriend works from home, works in the morning. I can't come into the office here and narrate, obviously, so it's just been hard. Just some challenges, but I hope to fix that with this new schedule. So 2021 is hopefully going to be an exciting year for BookTube books and audiobooks in general. What's your, well, this isn't an actual book. This is my book where I wrote down the questions. Do you have some books you want to finish before the end of the year? Any series that you're reading right now that you need to finish? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow me on Instagram. I have updated my Instagram to reflect my channel name, so it is officially Dynamite Reads over on Instagram and Dynamite Reads on Twitter. I don't have a lot of followers on Twitter because I am new to Twitter and I barely function on Twitter. But go follow me there and interact with me there, and I'll eventually learn what I'm doing and how to Twitter. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I'm super close to 100 subscribers, which is super cool. So maybe I'll get that goal by the end of the year. I think that's all. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time.